blessed with the good fortune of Srila Prabhupada's very dear, empowered poet, Vaishnav, Sadhu, Dravida Prabhu. He is celebrated all over the world for his humility, his exemplary conduct, and especially for his incredible memory and the blessings of Gaur Nitai upon him to compose most heart-melting and enlightening poetry in the English language, with musical rhyme as well. Dravida Prabhu is Krishna Katha personified. If you're in a rush to get somewhere, be sure not to go by Dravida Prabhu. Because he'll have so many slokas, beautiful nectarine slokas, and poetic renditions to that sloka that you'll forget where you're going, why you're going, or who you are. I have that experience every time we meet. He's so enthusiastic to hear and chant about Krishna, and even more enthusiastic to induce others to hear and chant about Krishna. I was thinking, in several hundred years from now, there may be a special engraved stone placard outside of our temple saying, in the year 2005, in this place, Radha Gopinath Temple, Dravida Maharaj had composed the beautiful poetic English rendition to Nityananda Astakam. He worked very hard, practically day and night for the last few days, to make this presentation today. We heard it this morning, and he has improved it since then. So now please open your ears and your hearts and bathe in the oceanic nectar of Dravida Prabhu's wonderful devotional service to Srila Prabhupada. Let us sincerely thank him for his efforts. What an honor that he wrote this, which will be sung all over the world, and he chose our humble temple to do so. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but of millions of moons. If the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoiled his valuable human birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal. Because he never uttered the holy name of Nityananda, he has become merged into a so-called material happiness. What can his useless education and family tradition do to help him? being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, oh, what is this Nityananda? What can he do for me? I do not care. The result is that he is accepting something false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Shri Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful toward you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are not illusion. They are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. Always, always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottam Das is very unhappy. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. Shall we sing one more prayer? Chanting the holy names, Doyal Nitai Chaitanya. Oh, my mind dances. Oh, my mind dances. Oh, my mind dances. Oh, such a merciful personality as Nityananda Prabhu is not to be found anywhere. He suffers a beating from Jagai and Madhai and still gives them love of God. When your offenses are vanquished, you will obtain the treasure of love of God. But in these names of Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, there is no consideration of offenses. Once you have a taste for the holy name of Krishna, bondage to this world will come to an end. Oh, when there is attachment to the holy name of Krishna, then very easily the life of a living being becomes successful. Without affection for Krishna, life is simply useless. At the end of life, you will obtain the beautiful vision of Radha and Shyam in Vrindavan, if the mercy of Lord Gauranga is received. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. He tells that there are 2 days that are supremely auspicious. The full moon of the Phalgun month, the day of the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the 13th day of the waxing moon of the month of Magh, the most glorious day that Sri Nityananda Prabhu appeared in this world. Those who celebrate these 2 days will be recipients of the unlimited oceanic flood of divine blessings. In this beautiful song, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is explaining the nature of the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. This morning, Dravida Prabhu, His Holiness Chandramali Maharaj, and His Grace Makanlal Prabhu spoke very eloquently about the life and teachings of Lord Nityananda. With your permission, I will try to repeat some of the things I have heard from you. In this spiritual world, Lord Balaram is none different than Krishna. Prabhupada explains that the only difference between Krishna and Balaram is Krishna has complexion like a newly formed monsoon cloud, and Balaramji has complexion like a newly formed spring cloud. They are the same one Supreme Personality of Godhead who have appeared in these two forms. But Balaram, his nature is extraordinary. Although he is the Supreme Absolute Truth, his only desire for all eternity is to perform every possible service for Sri Radha and Krishna. He is Supreme Servitor Personality of Godhead. Try to imagine this, especially here in India. The insignificant, infinitesimal, tiny little conditioned Jivatma, whose 1/10,000th, the size of a tip of a hair, has the ambition to become God, the Supreme Enjoyer. And we have Sri Balaramji, who happens to be the source of Mahavishnu. He's not an infinitesimal jiva. Mahavishnu is so maha that all the universes are coming from the pores of his body. Unlimited. He's the super soul of the entire cosmic manifestation. By his simple exhalation, all the universes and all of existence are created. And by his mere inhalation, it's all destroyed. And he does it all while he's sleeping. Hare Krishna. What have you ever created when you're sleeping? And then there's Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who is the super soul of each universe. And Kshirodakshay Vishnu, who's the super soul within the heart of every living being. They are all emanating from Balaram. They are just partial manifestation, expansions of Sri Balaramji. And yet, his eternal ambition is to serve Krishna. And by his service to Krishna, he's teaching all living entities that there is no higher bliss than serving Krishna. Balaramji is the supreme enjoyer, but his enjoyment is service. In the Vaikuntha planets, he serves as Shesha, as the bed of the Lord. He expands himself to be Vrindavan Dham, the abode of the Lord. He expands himself to be the shoes of the Lord, the seat of the Lord, the clothes of the Lord, the ornaments of the Lord. He expands himself to assist the Lord in every rasa. In Vatsalya Ras, in Sakya Ras, in Dasya Ras, and we heard this morning in his form of Ananga Manjari as Srimati Radharani's younger sister in Madhurya Ras. Such unlimited, incredible enthusiasm to serve. That is love. And when he appears as Lakshman, the younger brother of Sri Ramchandra, his life, his soul, his heart was only for the service of Sri Ram and Sita Devi. When Sri Ramchandra was exiled to the forest, Lakshman was not exiled, but it was just understood that I'm going with you. Ram told Sita, Sita had to go with him. She couldn't live without him. So Ram said, Lakshman, it is your duty to stay home and take care of our aged father and and your mother and the citizens of Ayodhya, and be very kind and assist Bharat. But Lakshman, as there is breath in my body, as there is beating in my heart, as these are inseparable to my life, my being at your side is in your service is my life and soul. Willingly put on tree bark, matted his hair, and for the next 14 years ate roots from the ground. And while he did every possible service for Sitaram, he never accepted anything for himself. During the day, he served them. During the night, he guarded them. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is that Supreme Lord, Sri Balaram, who appeared as Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Brajendra Nandana je Sachi Shuta hoilo se Balarama hoilo nitai. The son of Nanda Maharaj, the king of Braj, has appeared as Sachi Suta, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Balaramji has appeared in this world as Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Parama Karuna Pahundui Jana Nitai Goda Chandra. These two brothers are supremely kind. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, searching to understand the love of Sri Radha. Krishna with the emotions and the complexions of Srimati Radharani. To give to the world what no other incarnation has ever given. Krishna Prema, for free. The Leela of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan is very confidential. It is very difficult to enter into. It's easy to talk about, it's easy to sing about, but to enter into the Leela, to actually have the qualification, very difficult. You have to be absolutely surrendered with absolutely not a tinge of material motivations to even approach Sri Vrindavan Dham. But if you just add magnanimity to Vrindavan, you have Navadvip. Lord Chaitanya is Radha and Krishna, who Rupa Goswami said is most merciful. Why? because he makes the Leela of Vrindavan totally accessible to everyone. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with this ocean of love of God to this world in the age of Kali. But Nityananda Prabhu, who our acharyas declare to be the very compassionate manifestation of Lord Chaitanya's love, he dug canals to those people who simply are not willing to go to that ocean. He dug the canals and brought that flow of nectarine ras of love door to door. Lochan Das Thakur is praying in this beautiful song we sang earlier. What is the nature of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy? He's Balaram. We have seen the power of Balaramji. When all the greatest heroes of the Kaurava dynasty, when they minimized Krishna in Hastinapur, with one blow of his plow, he separated the entire kingdom, the capital of the world, Hastinapur. He separated it from the earth and was about to destroy it by throwing it in the Ganges, and all the greatest military heroes. And at that time, the Kurus and the Pandavas were together. That means the greatest giant military heroes that were later to fight in Kurukshetra, just by one blow of his plow on the ground, they were trembling and came to him to surrender. That is Balaram. And they said, actually, we didn't mean anything we said. We just said it because we wanted to enjoy seeing the pastime of your unlimited strength. So he said, all right. That is Balaramji, who can destroy the entire cosmic manifestation by one inhalation. That is Balaramji. But here he is. He's coming to the earth in an apparent human form. And he's going door to door. Not just to Brahmins and pious people, but even to wicked sinners. And with folded hands, he's a beggar at their feet, begging them to take the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and the holy name of Krishna. This is astonishing. And some of the people he went to were very, very puffed up nonsense people. People who were not allowed in Srivasa's house, and they were angry. And when he went to their house, they would abuse him, they would blaspheme him, they would curse him. And what did he do? Balaram Leela, you know Romaharshan Sutta. All he did is speak the Bhagavatam. That was his offense. He was just speaking the Bhagavatam. He just didn't happen to get up to offer respects to Balaram. So Balaram had to show the world a good lesson that Vaishnava etiquette is very important. So he took a piece of kusha grass and touched Romaharshan's heart, and it cracked, and he died. Shri Balaramji ki! Such a little offense. Balaram just had, there was a whole crowd of sages. Balaram just happened to enter the scene in Romaharshan Sutta. All he did is not get up. He just kept talking. He was talking scriptures. But here is Balaram in his Nityananda Swarup. And he's being blasphemed. He's being cursed. He's being beaten. And with folded palms, he takes that piece of kusha grass, puts it in between his teeth with all humility, falls at these people's feet and begs them, please, take the name of Krishna. Why are you wasting your human life? He was weeping, he was crying to see their lamentable condition of material suffering. He would roll on the ground like a beautiful golden mountain, roll in the dust in utter humility, begging them, accept the mercy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and chant the holy names. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His supremely most magnanimous, merciful form. That is Nityananda Prabhu. He did not consider who is fit or unfit. In fact, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him that you should go to the people who are the most sinful, the most fallen, the most wretched, the most proud, and give them prema bhakti through Harinam. That was Nityananda Prabhu's mission. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is praying that Nityananda Prabhu opened the Namhat, the marketplace for the holy name. The only price to get Krishna Prem was just a little faith. Even the Chandalas, he was giving the highest benediction to. Therefore, in this beautiful song by Narottam Das Thakur, he is appealing to all people. Just catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, because he is the only hope in this age of Kali. In Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, we have unlimited prospect and inconceivable hope in whatever lamentable condition we may be in, however sinful we may be. So it is a day of praying for mercy. But you cannot pray for mercy unless you feel yourself very low and fallen. Because what does mercy mean? Mercy means I do not deserve anything except to suffer. But I'm crying out for your mercy to give me something that I don't deserve at all. If you're proud, you cannot beg for mercy. Therefore, that is the worst disqualification. Janmaishwarya Shruti Shribir Edamana Madapuman Naivar Hatyavatatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. Queen Kunti has taught us in her prayer the four greatest disqualifications for spiritual life. It's very interesting that they are the four things that people in this world are striving to achieve more than anything. Giving their time, their life, their everything. We want wealth. How many people here work for wealth? How much of your time is trying to sweat and strain and toil to get some wealth? Huh? You don't have to. At least you can answer privately in your heart. Wealth and prestige, to be honored, to be respected, high parentage, beauty, high education, People struggle. All of these things have the tendency to make us proud. And when you're proud, you could chant Krishna's names, but you cannot beg for mercy. And that's our only hope. The only way to get mercy is to beg for it. Mercy's there, but our heart is not receptive unless we are beggars. Therefore, Kunti said, akinchana gocharam. One who really feels totally bereft, nothing. That person could cry out and beg from the core of their hearts for mercy as they chant the holy name. You cannot understand Krishna by logic and knowledge, even knowledge of the scriptures. That is the Jnana Kand. Keshav Kashmiri, how he knew the scriptures? He knew every word of every Veda. Saraswati, he just wanted to know it, and she just put it on his tongue. Something like Dravida, but he's Dravida Prabhu, but he's a devotee. It's different. He just, Rig Veda, this particular aphorism, and it just flowed in poetic form. That was his power. But he was proud. Therefore, he had no devotion. He had no real happiness. So no, it is not by knowledge. It is not by austerities. Just like that brahmachari who lived by only drinking milk. Very austere. He wanted to see Srivas Thakur, just somehow secretly brought him into his house to see Lord Chaitanya dancing. And Mahaprabhu, he stopped his dance. Is there anyone who's not supposed to be here? I'm feeling no ecstasy. And Srivas said, there's no atheists, there's no materialists, but there is one brahmachari, but he's very austere and he's very simple. He only drinks milk. Get him out of here! I'll destroy the universe. I will rip him to pieces. No milk drinker will see my dancing. It is not by austerities that we can see God. It is not by knowledge we can see God. It is not by giving of donations that we will see God. It is not by collecting millions and millions of followers who worship our lotus feet that we can see God. It's only when we have the humility, the genuine humility, to beg for mercy. Read Prabhupada's prayers on Jaladuta. Study it carefully. The essence of all the scriptures are within those prayers. Everything's there. The consciousness of one who can approach God is so beautifully revealed. Here is the greatest Paramhamsa Acharya on earth revealing his for mercy. I have no qualification. I'm very lowly. I'm very fallen. Just let me be your puppet. I'm your insignificant beggar. Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were the most fallen when they approached Lord Chaitanya. Were the most fallen, worse than Jagai and Madhai. Servants of Malechas and Yavanas. There's no one in the entire creation you will find more undeserving and sinful than us. They were begging for mercy from the core of their hearts. No false pride. Who did Lord Chaitanya make the Namacharya? Haridas Thakur. The only benediction he asked for, and he could have asked for promotion to Goloka, he could have asked for all mystic siddhis, could have asked for anything. All he wanted was that in every birth, let me just get the remnants of your devotees. Even if I'm a dog or insect, that would be a great benediction, if it's near the house of your devotee. And then he felt ashamed. How could such a fallen, insignificant person like me ask for something so exalted? Because he was a beggar for mercy, he was empowered to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 24 hours a day, 300,000 names, approximately 192 rounds every day before he drank water. Hare Krishna. Trinarapi sunichena taror ibasihishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. We have to be such beggars, humble like the grass, tolerant like tree, eager to offer all respect for others and not to expect any in return. Then we can actually beg for mercy. And when we have that consciousness, we could chant the holy names constantly. Lord Nityananda Prabhu is the supreme personification of causeless, infinite mercy to everyone without discrimination. There's a beautiful story where Sachi Mata told Lord Chaitanya about a dream she had in Navadvip Dham. She said that I had just given nice sandesh and sweets to our family deities of Krishna Balaram, and in the dream I saw Lord Nityananda tell Balaram, get off the throne and get your Krishna off too. No longer are you cowherd boys stealing butter and all of this. Now you have appeared as Brahmins. My Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the supreme. All these offerings are meant to him. There was a fight between Balaram and Nityananda. And Nityananda Prabhu won. And Lord Chaitanya said, that's a very good dream. Do not tell anyone. So yes, in the age of Kali, the only hope for the fallen souls, which means everyone, is the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Our holy scriptures tell about the glorious activities of his life. There is an ancient village called Ekachakra. Even in Mahabharata, it is described how the Pandavas lived there long, long ago. No one even knows how old the history of Ekachakra is. There was a Brahmin named Oja who was very learned in the scriptures and very pure in heart. He had no children. Many, many years passed, and he worshiped the Supreme Lord. And finally, he had a wonderful son, who he named Hadai. And that boy was so much dearly loved by everyone. He was an ocean of good qualities and devotion to Lord Krishna. And his parents married him to the most chaste, faithful, and lovely lady named Padmavati. And just after the marriage, Hadai, who later became known as Hadai Pandit, both of his parents died. They left this world. They lived together in a life of great, great devotion. And after some years of prayer, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared within Padmavati's womb. And on this day that we are celebrating, he appeared. Beautiful golden complexion with a slight hue of red. Elegant lotus-like eyes that stretched practically to his ears. Every limb was the very personification of sweetness and beauty. One of the ladies, when they saw this little infant child, said, "He looks like a puppet of golden butter." He was so soft, everyone just wanted to hold him and embrace him. The house of Hadai Pandit became the meeting place for all the inhabitants of Ekachakra. They were just flooding in his house day and night just to see the child, just to be close to this child. He was given the name Nityananda Ram. Long ago, a team of astrologers predicted that Lord Balaram himself would appear in Ekachakra and make everything auspicious. But by Nityananda Prabhu's Yoga Maya potency, that prophecy was fulfilled, but nobody knew it. And as we heard this morning, Nityananda Prabhu, day and night, he along with his friends would enact the various pastimes of Krishna and his incarnations. Now for you mothers and fathers, something very extraordinary will be revealed. The little children practically never came home. They couldn't stop playing with Nityananda Prabhu, who could give up his association. And the parents were happy that they didn't come home. Because they loved Nityananda Prabhu more than their own children. They were just so happy that their children were giving pleasure to Nityananda Prabhu. They would play day and night. And in their beautiful, beautiful enaction of Leelas, these tiny little children, they would perfectly represent the pastimes according to the scriptures with the exact prayers. And they were small children. Somebody asked Lord Nityananda Prabhu, "How do you perfectly know what the scriptures say about these pastimes? You've never heard them from anybody in your whole life." Nityananda smiled. He said, "These are my pastimes." But by his Yoga Maya potency, they just laughed. They could not understand the truth. In this way, Nitai was the heart and the soul of everyone of Ekachakra. But he was constantly meditating on his mission. He appeared in this world for the purpose of service to his supreme worshipable Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he understood how his parents, they were so attached to him. How would he ever go away to go to Navadvip to help with the Harinam Sankirtan movement? Very difficult. It is said when his father and mother didn't see him, for a matter of minutes, they would practically go blind in separation. Hadai Pandit would be taking him in the fields, and he would just turn around, and if he didn't see him, he would practically go mad in anxiety. So much attachment. So when he was 12 years old, by his own sweet will, a beautiful but painful pastime took place. Shall I tell? No! An unknown sannyasi. You have to be very careful about sannyasis. An unknown sannyasi entered into Ekachakra and approached the house of Hadai Pandit. Hadai Pandit was so happy to serve a Vaishnav. Immediately welcomed in his house, offered him a seat, offered him prasad, offered him everything he had. He was a poor Brahmin. Said, I'll give you anything. I'm your servant. The sannyasi was very grave. He said, do you mean that? What I asked for, you will give me? Do you give your word that anything I ask for, you will give? Now please be honest in your hearts, oh dear Grihastas. If someone asked you that question, a sadhu, do you give your word that anything I ask for you will give? How many of you would say yes? Don't raise your hands. Just answer my question in your heart. How many would say yes? I'll give you my home, I'll give you all my wealth, I'll give you my prestige, I'll give you everything, I'll give you my body. That was the integrity of Hadai Pandit. He gave his word. He was willing and ready to give this sannyasi, who he only knew for a few minutes. It's not like he was a regular visitor. That's what householders were like in those days. But little did he expect what the sannyasi would ask for. He said, I want an assistant to travel throughout the whole length and breadth of India to all of the holy places. Give me your son, Nityananda. Thunderbolt upon his soft heart. He fell unconscious. Nityananda, I'll give you my home, I'll give you all my wealth, I'll give you all my land, I'll give you myself. But to give you Nityananda would mean to give you my life, my heart, my everything. You have given your word. That is what I want. So he went and spoke to Padmavati. They were reeling in pain, very disoriented and confused by this most severe crisis in their lives. He wanted to take their son. He was only 12 years old. Now you parents, sending your 12-year-old son to travel to all the holy places with an unknown sannyasi, you may never see him again. That's not difficult. But if your son is Lord Nityananda, that is very difficult. So he's completely captured their hearts. How could they give? But he remembered Maharaj Dasarat, who, to keep the integrity of his promise, gave the